Hello students, we are starting with the chapter 2 of civics, that is understanding secularism. Now, before starting this chapter, the concept of secularism must be clear to you, and for understanding the concept of secularism, we must know two important things, that is diversity and discrimination. Now, diversity and discrimination, they are a concept of class 6. We have read in class 6 also. Diversity. Now, diversity means to have various things. Diversity means diversified variety of things. Okay? Now, in the sense of civics, we will study in diversity the concept of religion, the concept of language, and the concept of various polities. Clear? Now, here diversity is a broader sense, and in diversity we know that India is a country with diverse languages, religions and cultures. Now this diversity, it gives rise to discrimination, because different communities, different languages, different religion are there, and some of them are in majority and some of them are in minority. Majority means the number of people are more, and minority means the number of people of that particular religion or language is less. Clear? So what happens? The more in number can suppress the people who are less in number. That means the majority people can suppress the people who are less in number, the minorities. Clear? Now it leads to discrimination. Now discrimination can be of various types. It can lead to exclusion. That means one of the community, one of the religion, majority, it may think itself as superior, and another one can be thought to as inferior. Clear? So the superior ones, they will suppress the inferior ones. This will lead to discrimination. It can also lead to exclusion. It can also lead to persecution. The persecution means what? It can lead to the commit of atrocities from the major communities on the minor communities. Now, different atrocities can be explained with the help of different examples. Now, see, first example is the Jews, they were persecuted by the Hitler. You know that Hitler in Germany, he himself did several types of atrocities on the Jewish community. He wanted to eradicate the Jews from the Germany. For that, he has done a lot of things. He has started eradicating them. He wanted to abolish the Judaism from the Germany. He started the gas chamber system, in which various Jewish people were sent, and they were ultimately sent to death. So this is where Hitler, he tries to abolish Jewish community from Germany. So why they were abolished? Why they wanted to get abolished from that community? Now this discrimination can be explained with the help of different examples. The Jews, they were persecuted by the Hitler. The Hitler, he did several atrocities on the Jewish people to eradicate them, to make them vanish from the whole Germany. Clear? Then Jewish state, there were Jewish states in Israel. They also did several types of atrocities on the Muslims and the Christians, because Muslims and Christians were in minority. They were less in number. So they were totally discriminated by the people of the Jewish people of Israel. And in Saudi Arabia also we can see this type of discrimination. The domination of Muslims in Saudi Arabia leads to the type of discrimination that the non-Muslims who are living in the Saudi Arabia, they were not allowed to profess their religion openly. They could not build the temples there. They could not do any type of religious ceremonies openly. Okay, so these are some examples which led to the discrimination. We have cited these examples from the various parts of the world. But what about India? Now, India also is a very good example of showing the unity in diversity, because in India there are several languages, several religions, several communities, there are different people who are living in a unified form. They are living in harmony with each other. Clear? So India has adopted, why they are living in harmony with each other? Because our government, our constitution has given us a policy, which is a policy adopted to separate the power of religion and to separate the power of state. That religion is separated from the state. Now, what is state and what is religion? Religion, you people know. The dharma we adopted. The principles we adopt. Clear? So, यहाँ पर ये समझना जरूरी है what is state. The state here means the government, which makes the set of rules. Earlier we are having the set of rules which are written in the constitution, and all these rules, they are adopted by our government. So government here means the state. Clear? So wherever I will use the word state means the government which works for the whole country, India. Clear? So taking the example of India, the word secularism can be explained in a broader sense. Now, which policy has India adopted? The policy of separation of religion and state, and this is known as secularism. So, secularism is an ideology that of the constitution that no individual will be discriminated on the basis of religion. Which broader sense we are reading about? That is religion. So no discrimination will be made on the basis of religion. If a person belonging to any religion, he has a freedom to profess his religion according to the laws. And this is only secularism. Clear? And secularism only provides the power to separate the religion and state. Clear? Now we have to read why this separation has been done. Why in secularism the separation of religion and state is important. Clear? Now another concept is that why it is important to separate religion from the state. Now state here means the government which make the rules. Clear? So there are two important points we have to understand why it is important to separate religion from the state. The first point is that powers are not misused by the majority. Now we see in our country there are two types of religion, one in majority and one in minority. Majority means the number are more, whose powers are more, and the second one minority, whose numbers are less. Now it is very important that in a country like India, the powers could not be misused by the majority. If the majority, they are given all the powers, suppose they are given the powers to use the financial resources of the government, and suppose they are given all other powers of the government to make laws and other things, then they will support their religion only. They will not support the minorities. So the majorities in this way will misuse their powers. Misuse their powers means they will not give the equal importance to the minorities. To stop these things, secularism is adopted in India, and in secularism all the religion, they are given equal powers. None of the religion is inferior and none of the religion is superior in front of law. They are all equal and they are given all power. They are given equal powers. And even the minorities which are less in number, special provisions are made for them. These special provisions are likely to be made because these minorities has to become equal as the majority. Is that clear? Now the second thing is that to protect the freedom of individual. So next important thing is that to protect the freedom of individual and to exit from their religion and embrace another religion. This is very important, that every individual should have a freedom to adopt any other religion, to adopt or interpret the fundamental concept of any other religion. As you have read the example of Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, the non-Muslims, they are not given the freedom to adopt or embrace any of the religion. Clear? They publicly they could not profess any other religion. They could not make temples. They could not make gurdwaras or church. As they are non-Muslim, they could not publicly profess their religion. But in India, the individual are given the freedom. They can exit from their religion. They can adopt another religion, and even they can interpret the principles of another religion also. Clear? So this is done in why this is done? So this is done in order to enhance the power of secularism, to make the communities equal to the majority religion. If any person or individual is not able to he is not likely with the principles of Hinduism, so and any Hindu majority is in power in government, then it could be possible that that particular majority religion will suppress the minority religion. He will not give the freedom to that individual to develop a sense of clarity. Like for example, in the past, untouchability was in practice. Untouchability was in practice because the majority in Hinduism, the people who are in majority, they were in support of untouchability. But when, as the time passed and as our constitution was made in the free India, firstly, the untouchability was abolished. This is a feature of our Indian constitution, to adopt the policy of secularism in order to make all the religion as equal. And this was done to make the individual, to provide them freedom to interpret another religion also, the principles of another religion also. If the state power is in the hand of majority people who are from Hinduism, and they are given the power, so it could be possible that they will not allow this untouchability to be banned. But as we have adopted the policy of secularism and our constitution allows the equality, policy of equality, so the untouchability was banned. There are several other examples also through which we can understand that the freedom of individual is provided to embrace another religion also and to exit from their own religion also. Like we have the fundamental rights, in which the fundamental right to religion. Now what the fundamental right to religion says? It says that all the religion are equal, and if a person wants to change or wants to embrace or interpret another religion, he could. So this is done in order to develop the broader sense of secularism. Clear? Now we will understand what is Indian secularism. Now Indian secularism is different from other countries. Secularism, we have to read it in broader sense. That one religious community does not dominate another. The majority, the community which is in majority does not use its power to suppress another religion. Clear? That some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. If one person is powerful, rich, and he belongs to the same community, then it is not the policy that he could suppress the people who are not rich, who are not in power. This is also a concept of secularism of India. Clear? And the third point is that the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individual. Now, see, any particular religion, it is not given a official recognition. In India, we do not have any official religion. We are having several religions, but none of the religion is given official recognition. Clear? And we could not take the freedom of anybody's individual any individual, we could not take the freedom of their religion. ठीक है ना? The person can easily profess his religion, he can easily propagate his religion in any sense, but it should not harm the religious sentiments of another religion. It should be kept in mind. This is the limitation of Indian secularism, that if the government is given power, if the constitution has given power to the individual to profess its religion or to propagate its religion, that it could not interfere in any other religion and it could not say ill of other religions. Is that clear? Now, how the Indian government works in various ways to prevent the domination. Now, domination means any superior religion will dominate the inferior religion. To prevent this in India, government has adopted 3 strategies: the policy of non-interference, the strategy of distancing itself from religion, and thirdly the strategy of intervention. Firstly, we will discuss the policy of non-interference. Non-interference means the state or the public places like the law courts, schools, government schools, and various other places, police stations. No religion will be given official recognition. All religion are equal before law. Here, for example, we take the example of government schools. In government schools, it is the government schools, they do not. We take the example of government schools. Now, in government schools, the schools do not celebrate the religious festivals like the Holi, Diwali. Like these festivals are not celebrated. They celebrate only the national festivals like Independence Day, then Republic Day, Gandhi Jayanti. Because if the government schools, they celebrate the religious festivals, then it may come into the mind of some minority religion that their religion is not given equal recognition as to the other religions whose festivals are celebrated. The festivals, mostly they are celebrated of the Hindu religion, so they might think that Hindu religion is in majority and that is why they are in power and that is why their festivals are celebrated, and in the government schools these minority people, they could not be able to develop properly. Clear? So in private schools, the private schools they celebrate both the religious festivals also and the national festivals also. Clear? So I think this example is clear that the government adopted the policy of now firstly we will understand how the government or how the state prevents domination. The state adopted the policy of non-interference. For example, an example is given in your NCERT that some friends, they are going for a picnic and they in the friends group there was one Sardar also, and what the Sardar, the Sikh community they used to wear turban. Now all the friends, they were wearing a helmet as they have to drive their two-wheelers, but the Sikh person was not wearing a helmet. Now the other person, he told that Sikh person that wear helmet or otherwise a fine would be charged to you. But in reply, what he says, the Sikh person, he says that I will not be charged a fine because I used to wear turban and the government will exempt me from that fine. That means the government is not interfering in the religious matter of that particular religion. The government is not applying a fine on the person who is wearing a turban, who is belonging to a Sikh religion, because wearing a turban is a part of their religion. Clear? Now this example is very clear that the government at some times do not interfere in the religious matter of people. But Is that so that this is hurting the religious sentiments of another religion? No, absolutely not. This is not hurting the sentiments of other religion. Now the next example is that strategy of distancing itself from the religion. See, our law courts, schools, government schools, police station and other public places, government offices, they do not recognize any official religion. All the religion are equal for them. ठीक है ना? No person is supposed to display the religion in these offices, public places. We say the example, we take the example of government schools. We see the government school example is given in your book also, in which government schools, they do not celebrate the religious festivals. Now why the students are asking the teacher that, sir, why could not we celebrate Diwali on a large scale in school? So the teacher explains that in government schools, as we are belonging to India and we are adopting the policy of secularism, we could not celebrate any festival which is related to one particular community. In this, if we celebrate the festival which are related to a particular religion, then it might be possible that the religious sentiments of the minority communities may be hurt, because mostly festivals, they belong to the Hindu religion. In here we have mostly the celebrations of the festival which belong to the Hindu religion, and there are very less festivals which belong to the other religions. So it might be possible that if in government places these festivals will be celebrated, then the religious sentiments of the minority communities would be hurt. Okay, so the government, it adopted the policy of distancing itself from the religion. Now the third, as we say that government is adopting a policy of non-interference, at the same time the government could adopt the policy of intervention also, that it can intervene in the religious matters of the majority religions. If something wrong happens in a religion which could hurt the sentiments or which could hurt the dignity of the individual of that particular religion only, then the government could intervene and could make the laws. As was said, we have taken the example of untouchability. Now untouchability, earlier it was a practice in Hinduism, but again at the same time, after a gradual passing of time, it was banned by the Indian government. Now untouchability is an offence. Which article says that untouchability is now banned? Article 17 of Right to Equality. It says that now the untouchability has been banned. Clear? So here the government only intervened in the religious policies of majority religion and altered the evils, social evils or the religious evils of that particular religion. So this is how the Indian government works to prevent the domination of various religions. Clear? Now we will read an example of the other country also in comparison to the Indian secularism. We take the example of American secularism compared to the Indian secularism. Now what we have read in the Indian secularism? Indian secularism compared with American secularism. Now we have read about the Indian secularism that the government adopts a policy of non-interference. Okay, the government adopts a strategy of distancing itself from religion, and we have also read that government adopts a strategy of intervention, that wherever it is possible, it wants to remove the evils from the religion, then the government will intervene in the religious policies. Clear? But in the American secularism, there is a strict separation between religion and state. The state could not interfere in the religious matters, and the religion could not interfere in the state affairs. Clear? There is a strict separation between the two. Now in India, there is a loose separation. Wherever possible, wherever the, as you said, read the example of untouchability. Untouchability was banned by the Indian government, by the provisions of the Constitution, because it is a evil. It is a evil practice in the religion of Hinduism. Clear? But if we take an example of American secularism, like the United States of America, most of the children in the government schools, they have to begin their school by reciting the prayer which and a pledge of allegiance, and the word is recited under God. So there was debates on this word, that it should be excluded. The conflicts were there in the religious beliefs also. But despite these conflicts, the government could not interfere in the religious matters. So here comes the difference between the Indian secularism and the American secularism. That means in our country, India, the Constitution provides us the provisions to profess our religion in a free manner. We can exit, we can propagate our religion freely in India. So the secular ideals of the Constitution, they are all included in order to prevent the persecution of one religion by the another religion. Clear? Thank you, class.